Ladies and gentlemen, the president has escaped. No one knows where the man is, who's running the country. Nobody knows what's going on. He just hasn't been seen for a few days. The president of the United States has not been seen for a few days. Imagine the nightmare scenarios. He could just be wandering the streets, right? He could have escaped with his friends to go follow the Grateful Dead. He could have gone to a sleepover and just forgot to tell his parents. Should we put out a bolo? Should the National Guard stationed on all those street corners in DC, should they be just on the lookout for the president? Or it might be more efficient if they just go to middle school cheerleading practices and check the bleachers. It's scary when no one knows where the leader of the free world is. You know, we should put out a silver alert. Or not. This will be airing on Sunday, August 31st. And right now, breaking news, the president has been seen, says Drudge Report, for the first time in days on the golf course. And he looks, ooh. You know, even if you don't like someone, you don't want to watch them get old and die in front of the whole country. That's not fun for anybody except, I guess, JD Vance. This is why I skip some weeks. This is why some weeks go by and you don't see a video from me, is because how do you discuss this and have any integrity left by the end? Oh, no, wait, I thought we were going to be saved, but apparently everyone on Reddit believes that this is actually a photo of a body double. Who signs up to be a body double? Like for Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong? What fat orange 79-year-old is sitting in their armchair at home and they see the little ticker on Fox News, body double needed, $19 an hour. And they're just like, I found my calling. You are watching the latest Gribbly's Folly Sunday Antisocial Hour. That time each week when I smoke my pipe and complain about humanity while answering all of its questions. And if you are a piece of humanity with an itching, burning, swollen, engorged question for me, leave it in the comments down below using the hashtag AskGribs. I will answer any question. As you know, I don't like to dabble too much in conspiracy theories, right? But let's dabble a little. The president is 80 years old with clear signs of dementia, and he's got a lot of edema, which in and of itself means nothing. He could have just been doing some landscaping work and ran his weed eater over a nest of yellow jackets. Without wishing ill will on anyone, I think it's safe to say that it's unlikely the president makes it to the end of his term in good health, right? And it's fairly likely, definitely a significant chance, he doesn't make it at all. Should that happen, should the president die in office, how will we know? What method will be used to inform the American people that Donald Trump has died? Again, not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not saying Donald Trump is dead. I don't think he's dead. I don't even think he's in any worse health than he normally is. I think he probably just didn't want to show up to work this week. Did you know that Mao died of Lou Gehrig's disease? This says he may have had Lou Gehrig's disease when he died. Doesn't say, this is Wikipedia, doesn't say he died of it. It is widely believed that Hitler suffered from Parkinson's disease. Also, he only had one ball. So it would certainly be in keeping with the pattern to not admit that there's anything wrong when there's clearly something wrong. And we did get the weird, Trump saying he wants to get into heaven, which is a very rare statement of imperfection about the man. You know, the thing about malignant narcissists is that they never admit that they're not perfect. More interestingly, there's a lot of thought that Stalin did not die of natural causes, that he was helped along by some of his subordinates, because the only reason you join an authoritarian regime is because you think that one day you will be the authoritarian, right? That you're better than all those other people and you're gonna get power next. And I would imagine that that's what the Stephen Millers and the Kristi Noems believe about themselves here. There's a big chance that we're gonna see that play out in the next few years. And I guess also a big chance that we won't. What if he just never dies because he makes friends with Musk again and they agree to just put a chip in his brainstem, and every now and then he lurches to verticality in his wheelchair and says something incoherent and no one knows anything has changed. Well, that was an uncomfortable little thought experiment. Let's get to your questions. Grant Reynard asked Gribbs, would you consider doing a cover of Just a Gigolo, the David Lee Roth classic? No. Also, please do the Shatner cover. Maybe? At Jake Dapper Inside Joke Nelson said, Jake Dapper Inside. That seems to be like Intel Inside. Jake Dapper Inside Joke Nelson. Oh, Jake Dapper Inside Joke Nelson. That doesn't make any sense either. Whatever. Jake says, another banger, Max. I live in a sea of red hats, and seeing people make videos like this helps keep my hope alive. Thank you. I got a lot of these comments, and I appreciate them. And it's also scary. Like, am I the only one still making these videos? Has everybody else, shut up already? Assurance Arms says, black on a tactical pipe is so 90s. Today, the hottest tactical pipes are all in flat, dark earth. Fair point. But black never goes out of style. And you don't have to, you can carry your tactical pipe. If it's in black, you can carry it without having to change your wardrobe. Because, if you're concealed carrying a handgun, you have to plan your whole wardrobe around that. Because you want people to actually see it, because then how else would they know you're a badass? Speaking of pipes, I am smoking a Friday Savinelli gifted to me by Old Greg, and in it I finally got through the last of my Stockabee's Luxury Bullseye Flake mixed with Pirate Cake, and I am smoking Old Limey Bastard from 2016. Envy me. And while we're doing the housekeeping, this is my first full video, my first full antisocial here in my studio and in my auxiliary office. I'm not used to this luxury, right? Like, there's tobacco on the floor. I'm gonna have to sweep that up. It's not the garage anymore. I don't know if I was cut out for this. Fireplug, Ass Gribs. Oh, shit. As a Southern fixture in your community, how is the Cracker Barrel rebranding affecting you? It's been tough. First I had to shoot all of my Budweiser. And then I had to go through every calendar in the house and rip out the month of June. And now this? You want to hear a fun story? I got a fun story for you. The last time that I was in a Cracker Barrel, it was 2008, and I was working on the campaign of an ultra-conservative Republican running for Congress. Those were different times. We stopped at Cracker Barrel on the way to protest the Mexican consulate. That was, there was a news story, I don't know if it was true. I believed it at the time. There was a news story that the consulate was helping illegal immigrants, like they were giving out information about how to avoid, I'm not making this up, and I hadn't thought about it until this question. The consulate was giving instructions to Mexicans in the United States illegally about how to avoid capture by ICE. And the candidate, and his campaign, we went to protest this. When people say oh, I didn't leave the party left me, I got receipts to back that up. This candidate, whose name I won't say, not because it's a big secret or anything, but just because I don't want to give the guy any press. This candidate, I worked with him for years. I worked on, I think, a couple of his campaigns, and he was super big on American originalism and separation of powers, small government, federalism. And that's why I liked him. And last time I saw him, he was on the street waving a Trump sign. At PRO expounds on the idea of the tactical pipe. One rail for a light to see what you're doing in the dark. Yeah. Now, wait a minute. Hang on. Is the light to see other things in the dark? Or is it to see your tobacco and your matches and all that? Because where I don't like general flashlight use on other things. Like my radios have flashlights on them. I do not need a device that is made to communicate sound to produce light. In fact, a rule I live by is that, okay, hold on. I used to work in a guitar store, right? And every now and then we would get vintage tube amps in. And of course, vacuum tubes glow a little bit, but if they glow a lot, you got problems. And that was where I developed the rule that anytime something that is made to emit sound emits light, you're in some deep shit. A few weeks back, I'm folding laundry on the bed, and I hear this buzzing noise. And it was kind of late. We got the overhead light in the bedroom on, and my wife comes in and I'm like, I think the light bulb is buzzing. And she's like, yeah, I said that a week ago and you called me crazy. And I was like, I don't remember that at all. And then of course she was like, you never listened to me. And I was like, no, I just don't remember listening to you. I do you make sound vibrations with your vocal cords and they do impact my eardrums. It's more of a mental problem. But she was like, yeah, I can hear it. And I think what really happened is she said it was buzzing and I couldn't hear it at the time because probably kiddo was screaming or house was on fire or something. And she's got better hearing than I do because of the working in a rock and roll store. And so I was like, yeah, you're crazy. And then I was in there folding laundry at night. It was quiet. Kiddo was in bed and I could finally hear it. And she was like, what should we do about that? And I was like, nah, nothing. Like 10 seconds later, the light bulb explodes in a rain of poison glass. Do you know what's in a CFL light bulb? It will turn your blood cold to read about what's in a CFL light bulb. Yeah, so poison glass all over my clothes, all over the bed. It's like, it literally covered from wall to wall in the room. We spent like the next hour deep cleaning the bed. It was like on our pillows where we put our eyes. That is how I came by the inverse corollary of Cooper's razor. When something that is made to emit light emits sound, you're still in deep shit. The point is, you shouldn't put a flashlight on everything just because you can. I get that you might want a weapon light on your gun or on your drill. That makes sense. Or on your lawnmower. Who are these people that mow their lawns at night? I won't even mow the lawn in the day. What can you just not sleep? All right, PRO says you need one rail for a light, another for ignition. Like we talked about, you'd have an app with a Corona Old Boy lighter gooseneck going in there, and then a third to hold a pipe cleaner ready for instant use to clear jams. Going back to Soviet weapons doctrine, which is weirdly a place that we return often on this channel, I think that might be, like, you don't need a rail to hold your cleaning kit. You install it under the barrel. And so I think maybe instead of a whole third rail, you could just like unscrew your pipe stem and then you'd pull out a telescoping pipe brush, because pipe cleaners are cheap, right? You can't make any money selling pipe cleaners. We have to sell tactical brushes, right? So you'd have a telescoping brush, and then maybe like the Peterson reservoir, the P-lip, whatever all that stuff is. This needless complexity, but we can leverage that, and we have a reservoir of sweetened rubbing alcohol in the pipe. Maybe a tiny little dropper somewhere in there, like with a dust cover on it that flips out when you chamber it. That's good. As a segue, I'm still, we're going to be talking about the Helene prepping video for the rest of our lives here. And the experience of trying to get to your comments is, I've complained about it enough, but it's always really, really interesting. People are so upset about pooping and guns. I don't know why. There's so many, 90% of the comments are like, oh, really thoughtful video, thank you. And then the other 10% are pooping, guns, and people that are mad because I said Gulf of Mexico. And then I get these little comments, Gulf of America, American flag emoji, American flag emoji, American. So since we're on the subject of tactical everything, some dumbass says, you made fun of guns, bye. I'm sorry. Guns don't have feelings. And the thing is, I actually talked in the video about carrying a gun, open carrying a gun. Like, and so the fact that I poked some fun at American gun nuts a little, and preppers. I poked fun at American gun nut preppers. Like, I get that you could, if you are an American gun nut prepper, and by the way, we probably don't disagree as much as you think we do, but I get that you could be offended because I poked some fun at you. Okay, but like, you're offended on behalf of your guns? But aren't you people, you're the ones that said fuck your feelings, right? What the hell's up with you, snowflake? Like, did your Kimber 1911 Ultra Carry cry itself to sleep that night? We have to stay with this subject I know. We have to stay with it just a little bit longer because there was this asshole in my comments that was, the only reason I'm really coming to it is because he was going after other people in the comments and calling them racist and all sorts of other things, and I, reported him. But at Kalishnikov Monkey says, wow, it's a woke circle jerk. Get the fuck out of America if you're unhappy with Trump. I'm a Brit, and I observe you liberal Democrat dickheads being self-righteous, conceited, blah, blah, blah. Come to Britain, you dumb fucks. Come live in a country with your bullshit policies already completed. I'm immigrating to the U.S. God bless America, says Kalishnikov Monkey. So here's the thing. I'm an American. I come from a land where we can actually own Kalishnikovs. We don't care what you think. Like, you've made your username, your whole identity is something you're not even allowed to, you've never been allowed to own. So that's like me being like, hey, I'm Tea and Crumpets Monkey, and I don't like the way you talk about politics. Grant Reynard says, please do the Shatner cover. Pretty please. Okay, all right, fine. Barbara Ann says, America has lost its humanity. Yeah, I guess that's one way of looking at it. PRO says, what is pushing people apart now is the thing that was supposed to bring us together, real-time social media. Reality is now on your phone, where it can easily be controlled, and it can easily control you. We need to come together and be in real life, shunning the people, ideas, and things which try to separate us. This is the only answer that I keep coming back to in terms of, somebody asked last week of how do we get around this? How do we actually connect with people? And I think that, my hope is that as the internet gets worse and worse, people will start actually gathering together again, and maybe we will reclaim some of our third spaces. You got your first space, which is home, and your second, which is work. And we used to have church as the third space, but let's be honest, you can't smoke your pipe in church, right? I want my tobacco shop back, or my shooting range, or my, fly tying shop, where you just go and I don't want you to hang out at the fly tying shop. They want you to buy some mop flies and get the hell out. The problem is it'll take a coordinated effort, and it'll need to be intentional. It can't be like, I opened up a storefront and I'm bad at advertising, so I just don't put anything on the internet. It needs to be like, you need a website. You need a website. What is up with these businesses that don't have websites? And bands. Every time I want to see a band, I try to find them. All they have is an Instagram or a Facebook page. They haven't updated in 6 months. And it's like, we're so glad to be in Milwaukee tonight. And I'm like, great. When are you coming here? At Beatles U2 replies about the eliminating of human waste during hard times and said, there are many things in the world today that should not need to be stated, but apparently do need to be stated. Among them is that urine is not blood plasma. Alexander Gennaro 8596 says, I have a jar of old limey bastard myself that's older than that, but I never smoke it. Why? Because I think it's crapola. Excuse me, sir. You have started building a bridge over a river you don't want to cross. When you come for the OLB, you come for me. No, sir. No. I can't ban you from the channel for this because that would be silencing dissenting opinions. But I could say, why don't you just go, vape some more strawberry fruitcake vape juice. Burn! Oh! Okay, we're wrapping up at 16:15 local time. The headlines on Drudge have not changed. We still got the silver alert out, but I think everything is under control. But I'm hoping nothing else happens this evening, because then the Sunday Antisocial will be out of date, and I can't stand that. If I get a bunch of political questions next week, we're going to do something different. We've done this 2 weeks in a row, and it's a little much. So ask me a bunch of other questions. Ask me hypotheticals. Would you rather kiss a horse or sleep in a bed with a slug in it? I would go with kiss a horse because I don't want to do the laundry. And even if the slug doesn't crawl on me, just knowing it was in the bed, I gotta wash everything. And I've talked to people that they don't feel that way. How do you do that? How do you sleep in a bed with slug slime? Just every night. You just don't wash your sheets. People are animals. More content just like that coming to you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind.